What's up, chat? How's the mic? I'm not sure if the mic is properly... So yeah, I'm in Japan now. This will be #1 stream of Japan. I don't have my second monitor set up yet, so I have to make sure that I don't do too much like internet search, which is like, you are living here, this is your real name, this is your social security number, shit on the screen, so... So, I arrived in Japan on the 19th, and then I spent 2 days in Tokyo, met up with a bunch of my younger relatives in Tokyo on Sunday, and then I took a bullet train out to Kansai. So I'm now in the Kansai, like between Kobe and Osaka area. I'm basically like running distance from the Hanshin Tigers Stadium. How's the transition, you gaijin? I'm not a gaijin. I'm a Japanese person, which has its own annoying rules. I know because I was doing the bureaucracy part of my lifestyle yesterday, going to the local office and shit. And they're like, do you have your inkan, which is like this like wooden fucking stamp that is incredibly easy to forge, that they still use for a ton of like identity stuff instead of using signatures or other stuff. Japanese bureaucracy is still trapped in like 1912 or so. It's pretty funny. Did you bow 20 million times per interaction? The pro tip of being in Japan isn't like bowing a lot. It's just doing like these super small nods. It's like this. It's like the American equivalent of when you're walking and one of your homeboys shows up and you're like, sup. It's that angle right there. Nod and say hi 4 or 5 times per combo. Let me show you proper Japanese speaking. はい、はい、はい、わかりました。はい、はい、よろしくお願いします。はい、はい。それでは、はい、and then you nod. That's about it. So ですね. Make sure you go before you say anything. はい、そうですね。はい、じゃあ、かしこまりました。はい。Superior American gesture nods upwards while inferior Japanese gesture nods downward. Keikona. When I was in college, I took a semester abroad in Japan, and there was like I was on the swim team at the university, and there were other American abroad students, and like they were like, yo, you behave Japanese normally, but when you talk to other Americans you suddenly do these American gestures, and they were pointing to me like doing the kind of like, you know, baseball like grab each other's hands shit, and like, you know, bring it in homie, that type of stuff that you just sort of end up doing normally when you're a boy, one of the boys speaking to another one of your American boys. But of course Japanese don't do that shit. People were commenting on how I was like implementing different forms of interaction. I was like, damn, I guess they're right. Did you update the passport? I haven't had to update my passport because it expires in 26, or no, it expires in 27. So I'll be able to renew my passport a year before its expiration. So that's coming up in February of 26. But for now, I can't really do anything regarding it. You're in Kansai, you'll eventually come across Japanese cholos. Not in the area I'm living. Now that I'm in Japan, I can tell you more locale information, but what's happening is it's like this. So I'm around here. So if I go to Osaka, I can travel through Amagasaki, which is ghetto land. Or I can go to Kobe. Where Kyoto? Kyoto's farther this way, I think. I can't remember. You pass it on the way here. BB is from Osaka. My family is not really, well, I guess my family. My mother's side of the family is from here, Ashia. Where is good food land in this map? Here and here. So, if you look at images of Ashia, like, there's all these fucking giga rich people up at the top of the mountain. It's like if you tell somebody in luxury apartment for rent, oh, this is Shinagawa. If you tell somebody that you're from Ashia in Japan, they're like, oh, you must be rich. It's just like a rich person place, but I'm not there. I am near the ocean, actually. I'm in like this insane, like cyberpunk, like massive fucking towers. It's literally like the tallest buildings in the area. There's like these giant fucking towers. They should have like huge numbers on them. That would make me easier to find them, but it's like... The heat is going to be awful. Yeah, I'm not really complaining yet because it's in the middle of the fucking winter, but even in the winter it's like 50 degrees Celsius, or not Celsius, 50 degrees Fahrenheit. You live in fucking Tokyo 03. It does feel like this weird combination of like cyberpunk dystopia and Showa era, like dilapidated, crumbling society combined together. For example, like the first thing that you have to get coached on is how to take out your garbage. Japan is famous for having like extremely anal garbage policies, but this area is like a whole nother level, and that's because in the 60s or 70s where they were building this area, they installed like this whole pneumatic pipeline system that like sucks up this garbage through like hidden pipes in the ground and shit, except that it's been running for like 70 years now, so it's like having all sorts of issues. So they're like trying to figure out how to like not destroy it. So they're constantly getting angry at people who like put the wrong garbage inside this like futuristic 70s retro technology. And like you have to go through like a coaching of all the shit that you're not supposed to put in the garbage system and when you can put it in and stuff like that. It's all very weird. For example, like it's so hyper specific. They want you to make sure that you like recycle all your paper, which is normal, but like they have like separate categories for both like magazines and normal paper and newspaper and stuff and cardboard. They're constantly telling you that you have to recycle your plastic bottles, your pettobotoru, but like all other plastic goes into the incinerator. So I'm just like, why the fuck can't they recycle the other plastic? I don't know, man. Not having a weekly calendar with the recycling does to a motherfucker. We have like a weekly calendar and a monthly calendar, and like they straight up like give you an actual calendar with each day of the week, and there's like specific things on specific days, and you have to be constantly looking at that calendar. And like they do all of this, and yet their like recycling rate is still like 15% or something like that. It's probably worse than where I was living in America. I kind of feel like they just do it as a humiliation ritual to make sure all the gaijin have properly subjugated themselves to Japanese customs. There's also all these like timing things of when you can take your garbage out, because if you leave your garbage out too early, then the crows are like, it's feasting time, bitches, and they like just like peel off the net and start going to town. So like there's hyper specific timing slots in which you can actually get your garbage out there. Bro is living the dream now. There is no dream. If I was still young and I had ideas, I might be like, I'm so excited, but I'm not excited anymore. I'm fucking old and washed. Yamete wrong pipe trash chan. Okay, so to get more specific about the pneumatic tube trash system, like, because it was made in the 1970s, you have to like unlock it so to open up the disposal unit, but there's a key in which you twist it and unlock it. And get this, if you pull, it's like one of those like bicycle U-lock keys, but when you twist it and unlock it, when you're twisting it back to lock it into place, if you pull the key out halfway through, the key will actually come out, but then like the lock is like this. The lock will be like now misaligned like this because you pulled your fucking key out halfway through. And there's all these sheets of paper like attached to the disposal chute that says if you do this and you pull it out halfway through and it's misaligned, it will cost us $2,500 or like $2,000 to fix this. Whatever you do, do not do this. And I'm like, holy shit. Talk about something that somebody might do by mistake and fuck over everybody. I swear, like, this technology was made when like Japan hadn't even reached their like economic peak yet. This is like when Japan was like still copying American motorcycles and stuff, and Americans were like, huh, Yamaha, they don't know how to create cars, they can't make a motorcycle, stupid Asians. And then like 10 years later they're like, no, the Japanese are taking over our auto industry. And then 10 years later they're like, no, the Japanese are buying everything. And then 10 years later it's like, no, Japan has entered 30 years of stagflation. So we're like, 10 narrative steps before like our current version. This is the technology we're dealing with. That sounds like bad design. The crazy thing about this is like I'm on the fucking 17th floor or like the 16th floor. It's quite literally like, oh shit, if I fell from here, I wouldn't just die, I'd be like splattered on the fucking pavement. Fucking terrifying shit. But they had the technology to build these massive like skyscraper type, housing units in the 70s, and they didn't collapse after the Kansai earthquake. You guys might not remember, but there was the massive Kansai major earthquake in the 90s in which like huge amounts of infrastructure went down, but all of these towers are still standing. So I guess they had the technology to build them so that like they just sort of wobble back and forth even back then without like crashing. Something that, all the Chinese buildings are most definitely not capable of doing. This is gonna rattle like a motherfucker when there's an earthquake. Yeah. Honestly, I'm not planning to stay here long term though. Because it's gonna get so fucking hot in the summer. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do it. My mother has recommended that I probably start moving in March or April because that's when like everybody moves, so there won't be many apartments available if I wait too long. But for now, I'm gonna be here. Go to Hokkaido. You don't have to go all the way to Hokkaido. Basically, you need to get into elevation. So I'm thinking Nagano, or there's these areas in Chiba where, because of like the way the ocean currents work, it's pretty cool during the summer. And by cool, I just mean like not enough that you automatically die from heat stroke the moment you get outside. But that's gonna have to be good enough in my case. No place is gonna be cool, but if you can get to the higher elevation, go to Okinawa for an IRL beach episode. I don't want to get ass raped by American Marines, okay? Hokkaido is so cool though. I love Sapporo, I guess. The thing about Hokkaido is that you probably need a car if you want to do shit. That also means living in bumfuck nowhere up in the mountains, sort of, but there's plenty of cities in Japan, even in higher elevation locations. Chinese buildings are a literal house of cards. In the war, they will not collapse from the bombs themselves, but from the effects. Did you guys see the video of the Chinese bridge that collapsed? And then, like, everybody was like, no, the bridge collapsed because there was a landslide. It wasn't because there was poor, shoddy construction. But then if you watch the videos of the Chinese bridge before it collapsed, one of its base pillars looks like this. It's, like, on the side of the mountain. It looks like this, like there's a fucking gap in between the base pillar and like the angle of the mountain. It just kind of like, it's like sitting on the grade of the mountain instead of being like buried inside it like it should be, right? It should be like buried like deep inside the fucking mountain, but instead you can like literally see a shadow underneath the pillar and the mountain, so it's not even like straight up attached. And I was like, holy shit, this has nothing to do with the landslide. This is just insanely bad construction. Like, you don't need to be an architectural student to understand that just having like one of your fucking pillars just sitting on the side of like a graded mountain is not good, you know, it's not stable at all. So Hanzu saved like a hundo on that. But China built a train station in under 24 hours. They are mogging us Westoids so hard. Now that's a job I wish I had. The Westerner whose entire job is like being like, it's over, Western civilization is finished, China did this or that, and just like lying on social media all day. It must be so fucking easy. Just be like, it's over, Western bros. We will never overcome the amazing technological feats accomplished by Chinese engineering. And the amazing technological feat is just doing whatever Western countries did like 80 years ago, except without any of like the guardrails that make it so the building doesn't collapse immediately. I love the videos on Changshu with the Americans in China who promote the cities. It's like, whoa, look at this building. It's so amazing. America could never build that. It's unironically soulful. Propaganda, if you enjoy it as something like that you know is propaganda, is actually extremely soulful content. I enjoy it very much. So back to me being in Japan. I'm actually living in my deceased aunt's apartment. She died in, I think like June last year. I can't remember. But all of her stuff is still there in the apartment, which makes it kind of uncomfortable. It's definitely not my living space. So that's another one of the reasons why I'm probably gonna move. The rent also isn't cheap. Like, the ownership of the apartment went to my aunt's daughter, so I guess that makes her my cousin, one of my cousins, and she's giving me a low price on the rent itself. If you consider the number of rooms I'm getting, it's actually a relatively low price. It's like 50,000 yen per month. that's kind of a bargain. But the thing is that because my aunt's shit hasn't been completely cleared out, it's not like I have space for like everything there. Like I don't have enough space for my own shit. I'm still sort of like living in her living space, so it's not actually a good deal. And the other thing is that there's this thing called like maintenance fees, which everybody has to pay regardless of rent, and that's all the way up to $30,000 per month. And I was like, man, why is the maintenance fee so high? It's supposed to be like 5 to 10% of rent. So $30,000 would mean like this building was the equivalent of like a like 10 times that, so 300,000 yen per month rent, which would be very expensive, which it clearly isn't. But the reason why the maintenance fee is so high is because of what I just talked about, because it's like this dilapidated 70s infrastructure that people are trying to hold together by like duct tape and bubble gum and shit. And whenever somebody forgets to turn the key of the garbage chute, then, you know, suddenly they need to call up the special maintenance person and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars just to like make sure it doesn't get fucking stuck again and stuff. So yeah, I'm not bailing yet, but I'll probably bail around March or April and then move to a different part of the country before it starts to get insanely hot and uncomfortable. I pay $500 homeowners association per month for a hot tub filled with dirt and shitty elevator. Yeah, but my goal is to not live in the horribly dystopian hellhole of American infrastructure and rental fees and stuff like that, okay? You have to understand. Now that I'm in Japan, I can easily find a very nice new modern apartment within 20 minutes of a railway station at like, I don't know, 40,000 yen per month. So that would be like the equivalent of $300, you know? I was looking on these apartment shopping sites, and there's just a ton of places like that, especially in the case of me where I'm not looking for a specific location because it's not like I'm commuting to work or anything. So I can live like anywhere in the country, so it's actually very easy for me to find low rent places that seem relatively nice. So I don't really have to stay here. It's also awkward being in, you know, my aunt's space, so he is living the dream after all. I like how the American idea of a dream is a location where your monthly rental cost isn't more than like 60% of their salary. The whole meme of your boomer parents being like, I walked in at 16, I walked to the local factory and shook the manager's hand and was like, I promise I'll work as hard as possible. And then he gave me a job in which I could support myself, my stay-at-home wife, and 5 kids. And then I also bought a house with a 10-year mortgage for $10,000. That meme, the boomers want to tell you that it's not true and we're, you know, exaggerating stuff, but it definitely is true. Meanwhile, in 2025, it's like, would you like this tiny house? Literally called a tiny house that exists because we can't afford real houses? Well, this tiny house, the size of like 2 rooms and made by like shitty plywood, is gonna cost you $80,000. This is not an actual joke at all. This is like a real thing that Americans have been doing. Tiny house. A tiny house is a small, simplified living space under 400 square feet. Part of a social movement promoting less clutter, lower costs, simpler living with options ranging from mobile trailers to compact fixed structures. Tiny house. Cost. 15,000 for basic do-it-yourself to 100,000 for custom luxury models, 30,000 to 80,000. Guys, look at this wonderful living space. Look how much space you get. Fucking $80,000 for a medium size. It's like a fucking outhouse. Zoomers are like, guys, look, I have a house now. Look how many rooms I get. I know I'm making fun of the amount of space Americans are getting in their fucking $80,000 house when I live in Japan, where like having one room, dining, kitchen is like perfectly normal. But like America ain't Japan. It's not built around living in these small spaces. Also, this shit ton of land. Tiny houses are a cope. Tiny houses are the very definition of cope in the modern real estate market, no doubt. It's like, guys, I have a house now. It only cost me $80,000. I grew up with people that built literal playhouses for the kids that size. Yeah. If you're someone that wants to make nice things for your dog or chickens, like that's the size of the fucking chicken coop. Just live in your long haul truck cab Kona, true. I know because I was at Planet Fitness and people were literally living in their car there all the time. Planet Fitness parking lot was one of the life hacks where these homeless people would go. Small home in America is beyond cope. Small house in Japan as well makes sense, and they don't get the land we got in USA. Also, small house in Japan is probably located near, you know, a very dense metro area as well, so you don't have to own a car, and you can just walk everywhere. There's all these benefits of having everything being small and being close to each other. Whereas America, when you have a small house in America, you get none of those benefits. Just join the military, get a VA loan easy. What are you, lazy? If you've seen Financial Audit, you know that the cheat code in American society is joining the military, claiming that you got hurt in basic training, seeing like a psychotherapist to write you a letter that you have traumatic PTSD from your injury in basic training, and then get 100% of VA benefits for the rest of your life, so you get paid like $5,000 per month without doing anything. This is like literally every single Financial Audit guest ever, so... Japanese people aren't hoarders. Some of them are. In fact, there are elite Japanese hoarders. Because they have less space, they can truly fill their apartment with junk from top to bottom, and they can't even get into their apartment. Like, there's just like a wall of garbage when they open the door, and it's like, yeah, I can't get in now. My VA disability pays for my house, but I have screws and plate in my spine. You did it wrong. You have to do it in a way in which you're not actually injured, and then just claim like some sort of emotional damage. In order to buy a house, you must melt your body for ultra death or surrender all capital for infinite rent. Or, this is what's going to happen to everybody else, you just wait for your boomer parents to die and then inherit it. Also, because boomers are a huge part of the population, housing prices might go down once they start to die off, although that's also questionable because America has allowed all these like private capital firms to buy up everything. So they're probably just gonna buy all the horses and hoard that shit, so... Nihongo dekiru? Dekiru yo. だから今日本に住んでるんだよ。普通にバイリンガルだよ。 Will you get your dad's place in California? So he remarried, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna get it. I think a lot will have to do with when his second wife dies. If I do end up getting the California house, I'm kind of like, I don't know if I'm set for life, depending on inheritance taxes and shit like that, but it will be a shit ton of money just because of the housing prices. We live in the worst timeline. Hello, Japanese viewer. I'm in my 4th year of learning Japanese. We don't actually ever have Japanese viewers except like one guy. Here's the thing. Even if we have Japanese viewers, they're too intimidated by all you retards speaking in English. So they don't actually... They're not going to try and... Japanese viewers are too polite to try and butt into this endless stream of English commentary in the comments section. Even if I say something in Japanese. They're like, oh, if you guys don't know, like, even in Twitter, when someone replies to somebody's, like, comment, the Japanese Twitter users will just straight up say, excuse me for replying without, like, being in your follows or whatever, some shit like that, because they think they're, like, breaking some sort of social contract about who gets to reply to shit online. This is the kind of culture that Japan lives in. Hey, Aldwin Foyder, I appreciate the support. Thanks for the Prime sub. Do you see yourself living in Cali if you do inherit the Cali dad house? No, I'm definitely selling that. I don't know, I'm definitely not a Cali person. It just feels so, like, surreal being there. It's too sunny and bright. I know Japan is also sunny and bright and 10 million degrees and uncomfortable on its own, but as someone who grew up in the dim, darkened Midwest, California is so goddamn expensive. Yeah, man. Considering that I can buy like a shit ton of food at Japanese supermarket for like 3,000 yen. Like, I don't think I'd be able to go to like California prices. Especially with the current exchange rate. I'm like, oh no, I bought so much food, I'm gonna bankrupt myself. Oh wait, no. No. Actually, I bought like 5 bags of food and that's 3,000 yen, which is like 20 bucks. Okay, I'm fine. Japan is essentially a third world country in terms of like living expenses in some ways. As long as you don't want to like get a car or something, or have a kid maybe, I don't know. Even fruit and veggies are expensive, but in fairness, I live on 20 pounds of persimmons a week. Where do they even make persimmons in America? I didn't see many persimmons in the Japanese supermarket when I went there yesterday. I think it's a autumn only thing. We're out of persimmon season in Japan and we're in like Mikan tangerine season. Don't go to the kombini every day. You have to go to supermarket. Kombini is luxury food. You buy the same shit at the supermarket with like whatever supermarket membership you use, and you're paying like half the price of a convenience store. Convenience store is exactly that. It's a convenience store, so you're paying all sorts of extra numbers for it being really close by. Also, there are no convenience stores right next to the area I'm living, but there is a supermarket. The supermarket is way closer, so there's a diet within walking distance. Konbini is, I'm fucking tired and need to get fed and drunk. Yeah, so considering I'm on the 17th floor of this dystopian cyberpunk Showa housing unit, like, I have to have energy to just to like get down to the first floor. Every time I get into the elevator, I'm terrified that there's going to be an earthquake and I'm going to be stuck in the elevator for, you know, the next 40 hours. Or it's just going to plummet to my death. I need to get the fuck out of here as soon as possible, honestly. But, even that possibility is better than using the fucking stairs from the 17th floor. I tried it once the other day to see how much time it would take me. It's literally the part of Final Fantasy VII where you can use the elevator or use the stairs, and the stairs you're just going in circles forever. In the Shinra HQ assault mission. Your quads will thank you this daily exercise. Bro, it's not just like once. Like, you have to go down the stairs for all sorts of shit. The thing is that it's not even pleasant going down the stairs because, like, you have to go by each of the individual apartments. It's not like an isolated stairway. That's the problem. Like, you're going by the apartment buildings, the doors of everybody else's apartments. So I'm terrified that, like, I'm gonna have to, like, talk to people and shit. I definitely don't want that to happen. What if somebody opens their door? It's terrifying. Bro, they're Japanese. They don't want to talk to you either. They're not going to talk to me, but we might have to make eye contact and do the head nod things I was just talking about. You're so autistic, LOL. Everybody in Japan is autistic, to be honest. It's an entire country of autists. Are you gonna stay in that place or look for a less earthquakey death trap? I'm gonna move. That was basically the topic of the first 10 minutes, is what I started over with. It's less the earthquakey death trap, because literally every place is an earthquakey death trap in Japan, but I want to find some place that's slightly less hot during the summer. I'm actually very comfortable right now because it's winter temperatures, but that's going to change very quickly. Because it's like nice and sunny and just cool enough in the winter, in the fucking December, so you can only guess how awful it's going to be very, very soon. Are you excited to submit your one-shot to a publisher? I'm not excited because I haven't even drawn the one-shot yet. I haven't even done the storyboards yet. There's so much shit I have to do first before I can start grinding, drawing non-stop. If you have a relatively big wooden beam over your head during an earthquake, even a gazebo is a death trap. Yeah. Have to get under the table or something. It's almost New Year's. Give next door neighbors bags of tangerines. I'm supposed to give them shit that I brought from America. My mother gave me a bunch of bags of like pistachios to take them. I was like, sure. But I don't know. I'm terrified of, you know, pressing the button of those doors and being like, hello, I have just moved in next door. I don't want to do it, bros. I'm thinking maybe I'll just ignore it, but that would be improper as well. How's Japan? It's okay. I haven't done anything fun yet. I'm kind of past my point in which I can just be like, yay, I'm in Japan, so much fun. What region is your Japanese speech? I mean, it used to be Kansai when I was a kid, but I don't know, it's been too long. All I've been doing is speaking with my mother for too long, so... Also, I have a speech impediment in English. I don't know how that translates to Japanese. Here's the thing, you don't actually speak in Japanese. I already said this, but everyone just says hi, 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 wakarimashita. There's not much speaking going on, you know. Time to develop a Yankee effect. I'm not part of the Yankee area, so it doesn't matter. Although I am thinking of growing a mustache. So one of the first things I did when I got to Japan was I went to a barbershop and got a proper Japanese haircut, because one thing that I've been doing is, up until now, I've been shaving my head because nobody knows how to cut Asian hair in the area I was living. So I was basically forced to deal with it myself, but now that I'm in Japan, I can get a proper haircut. So I was like, okay, now that I've grown out my hair a little bit, I can get a haircut in Japan. And so I got, you know, like a kind of like sporty side shaved hairstyle. And I was like, you know what? This hairstyle would go good with a mustache. I'm old, so this will probably be a, you know, it'll make me look like a middle-aged man, which is what I am. We have to embrace the uncle, so I'm gonna try and grow a mustache. Are your neighbors afraid of you? I haven't seen them yet. And if I don't ring on their doorbell to give them the fucking bags of pistachios, then I won't see them. Are you going to wear salaryman suits to blend in? No. I'm not in Tokyo, so this isn't like salaryman country. Tokyo is like peak salaryman area, but not this here, not here. You have wispy baby hair most Asians have, or do your American genes help you with that? Asians don't have wispy baby hair. Asians have fucking Goku style spiky ass hair, which is what I have. It goes like this. It's like these just super tough needle like straight black hair. So if it's sharp, you get these fucking Goku hairstyles. Facial hair? Well, my facial hair is also spiky and painful, which is why I have to shave. don't have much facial hair on my cheeks and stuff. I have it on my chin and underneath my lip, so I can go like goatee route. But I'm just gonna do a mustache. I think I'm gonna try and make myself look as gay as possible, and then when people find out I don't have like a wife and kids at 40, they'll be like, oh, it's just because he's a homosexual. So I'll be safe. How was the move? Well, I don't have much stuff, so clearing out my room was a shit ton of work though. I had the worst fucking airplane flight, and I think that was because I drank caffeine trying to clean out my room on like the last day. Obviously I was cleaning it out before the last day as well, but as usual, like, this shit takes forever. So I'm like, I'm gonna try and make it so my mother doesn't have to deal with shit still in my room. And I was like, I'm not gonna sleep tonight because I can sleep on the plane. And then when I got on the plane, it was this tiny fucking Airbus. Up until now, I was using like good American Boeing, you know, crashing into the ocean because they can't do safety checks, Boeing airplanes. But this was like a tiny fucking Airbus. This was so cramped. This is probably one of the most cramped airplanes that I've been on, if considering that I was like going across to Japan. And my god, it shook a ton. I guess it was because it was small. And I was okay at first, but by like hour 12 of this, when we were approaching Tokyo, just a huge wave of nausea started to hit me, and I had like my face in one of those puke bags for the remaining hour or so of the flight. And then when we were just getting down to the ground, I puked like 30 times. Luckily I hadn't eaten any in-flight meals specifically for this purpose. I try and never eat anything on planes. And like everybody else on the plane seemed like they were fine. It was just me. But yeah, that absolutely sucked. So that was probably a combo of it being a non-patriotic, non-American, disgusting French Airbus plane, and me drinking caffeine and not sleeping enough before I got on the plane. Did BB bring futon-chan or lever in the States? I'm not bringing an entire fucking futon to Japan. However, I did bring my sheets because I had a lot of room left in my luggage. So I was like, you know what? I can just like straight up fit my sheets in there. I'll take my sheets. So at least I have the same like skin feeling. It's a very like safety blanket type shit to do to bring your sheets, but I think it was the right idea. Isn't that like a 50-hour flight? It's 13 hours this way, 11 hours on the way back because of the jet stream. But yeah, it sucks balls. So for that reason alone, I'm not looking to go back to America for a while. I don't want to get on a plane. You got Muji and Superior Houseware stores. Hot take, I'm not a huge fan of Muji Ryohin or Muin Ryohin, however you read the character. For those of you who don't know, Muji is a Japanese brand whose entire thing is they're a brand in which they don't put anything on their clothing or pens or whatever you want to buy there. It's like, look guys, we don't have a logo. It makes us so special. And I'm like, you know what? I don't really care. Also, we don't have a Muji store around here, so... The thing is, the quality of pretty much everything in Japan is high enough that I don't need to go to a specific store to get quote-unquote high-quality shit. I can just buy high-quality shit anywhere. It's not like America where it's like everything is poop and then you like find like one brand that's okay, so you just like rely on it. In Japan, all the brands are okay. You went to Donkey like a good gaijin. I don't think there's any Donkey in this area. Again, like I said, this is like rich people area. If I want to go to Donkey, I have to go to Osaka. Oh, and because you fuckers mentioned it, now you have to take it. You have to get it now. Is it not starting? Oh, that must be the, there we go. Imagine if you work in Don Quixote and you get to listen to this awesome song for 8-hour shifts. The people at Donkey look so miserable, LMAO. If you work at Donkey, you deserve the fate that you brought upon yourself. I'm not someone who can work anywhere. And one of the big disqualifiers for me is like having to listen to weird ass songs the entire time. So no grocery stores, no Don Quixote. Just work at Book Off or Mandarake. I haven't worked at Book Off. I haven't been to a Book Off or Mandarake in a long time, but now they have like hard offer, which isn't hard gay, it's like hardware off, which I think I'm gonna have to find because I need to buy a monitor. Getting rid of all my stuff in order to try and leave America made me realize that I should just buy everything at thrift stores and stuff. I realized the importance of people to buy like shit that you don't want anymore. Someone has to buy the used stuff. Don 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 Donkey Hote. Something something Gekiyasu Janguru. I'll be tortured with this song. So my favorite Japanese fast food place, like, you know, the Yoshinoya places, among those type places, it's called this Nakau. It has udon, soba. There was like a Nakau right next to the hotel that I stopped in Shinagawa in Japan, and I was like, oh shit, it's Nakau time. They have oyakodon. They have some donburi, but they're primarily a udon place. But they have a song comparable to the Don Quixote song, and they used to play it non-stop. The one that I went to this time didn't have it. What is this? Ooh, 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 ooh. Back in 2010, the Nakau I would go to would just have this on fucking repeat forever. And I was always like, why would you do this? Nobody wants this. Certainly not the employees, but not the customers either. Has BB bought the 20-pound bag of rice yet? I bought 2 kilos of brown rice. We'll see how long it lasts me. Rice is a little overpriced right now in Japan, which makes it like the same price as it would be in America, but by Japanese standards it's really expensive, so everyone has been complaining. But it will probably, the market will probably adjust soon. But all the middlemen are trying to still hold on to their stock and hope that they don't lose out too hard. Anyways, it's still not that expensive. I forgot there was that sick guitar riff in this song. Nakau, and then it would go on repeat. That was the crazy part. It was like, okay, you listened to it once, now it's time for you to listen to it again. Also, probably the most infamous one of these, maybe even more than the Donkey one, for at least among Japanese, is probably this one. It's even like straight up parodied in Persona. Oh, maybe it's not in there. I thought there was a Matsumoto Kiyoshi song. Maybe I'm misremembering it. What was the Persona version of it? Oh, yeah, Satomi Tadashi. This is what I'm thinking about. This is early Persona. Hey, Ball, have you heard anything about Finnish politicians Miss Finland doing the slanted eye thing? I can't tell if it's actually in the news right now. The Japanese were being like, LMAO, white people are being racist as usual. We know you're all racist. Stop pretending like you're not racist. Which I was like, yep. I agree. I don't understand. Why am I not allowed to put my fingers on my eyes to make a whimsical gesture to suggest I have very thin eyes? What's so wrong about this? Why is Takeshi so mad? Ball, this platform really sucks at sending your go live notifications. Holy fuck. I've heard a lot of people say that they have Twitch go live notifications set up and they don't actually get them, which is interesting because I never actually, you know, try and follow my favorite streamers actually going live. So yeah, this is my first stream after being absent for a while to prepare for going to Japan. Now that I'm in Japan, I can get back to streaming again. Places near your apartment for trail running? Not necessarily trail running, but I'm near the ocean, so there's all this like running locations near the ocean that I can run next to. If you ignore the part that if there's a big earthquake I have to run away from the ocean because there will be tsunamis and I'll be killed. If you ignore that part, it's pretty good running location. Of course I say that because we're in the middle of winter, and as soon as it hits like May, it will be too fucking hot to do anything outside, so I need to get out of this place and go to high altitude so it's not going to be so hot. But right now it's very nice. We really got to bring back racist jokes. Early 2000s was full of it. Early 2000s was just like racism and sexism is so funny, LMAO, and that was like the extent of our humor. We had stuff like The Man Show. American culture peaked in 2000 before September 11th happened, when we were all worried about whether Britney Spears was too sexy or not. And all of our culture was just like, LMAO, Britney Spears is so sexy. I went to Osaka and Nara in the summer. It was fucking death. Yes. Japan is not a place you should want to be walking around in summer. It just is not. If you are from any place cold, you should just go in the winter and it won't be cold at all. At least it's not Kyoto where they have the old trains. I lived in Kyoto as a kid, and that was before we had our global warming trend going on. And it was still already unbearably hot. Kyoto is surrounded by mountains on 4 sides, so there's almost no breeze at all. It's just like stagnant hot air. It's extremely painful. I would like to be there in summer just to be sure it's just you being a bunch of coddle babies, or if the heat is that fucking unbearable. You have like people interviewing foreigners that have come to Japan, and they're interviewing people like from fucking sub-Saharan Africa or like Egypt and shit, and they're like, I am from Cairo, Japan is worse. People are like, I am from literally the middle of the Saharan desert, Japan is worse. Because it's also like 80% or 90% humidity and stuff as well. And then if you're in Tokyo, you have the heat island effect of being in like the largest metropolitan area on the planet. So it doesn't even get cool during the night. It's just hot from beginning to end. It just stays like that. It's honestly uninhabitable. I don't understand why so many people are like, yay, I'm going to Japan over summer vacation. It's like, no. No, we're not going to Japan over summer vacation. It's fucking awful. As a person who lived in Cairo, Japan is worse. Yeah. There's all these foreigners who are like, Japan is just worse. I'm supposed to live in a hot location, but Japan's worse. The funny part is that despite it being like one of the most unbearably hot locations on the planet, it also somehow has like some of the coldest, snow heaviest winters as well. And then it also has earthquakes and tsunamis and Godzilla. Why the fuck anyone wants to come to Japan and live here makes no sense. It's probably why it's such a soulful country, is because the Japanese have to constantly suffer at all times. It makes their culture more soulful. They don't take shit for granted. That's why everyone's so polite to each other, because they know they have to like help each other out in case of the millionth natural disaster that happens. No wonder you never see fat Japanese people, you fuckers, sweating your ass off. They're especially not around in the Tokyo area, but I saw a fat woman in the train station the other day, probably because I'm in Kansai. I feel like Kansai has more room to become fat. Just the culture. Kansai is a little bit more chill than Tokyo. Tokyo, you'll see like 2 anorexic girls before you see 1 overweight girl. When I go out in Japan, I'd always come back with my clothes soaking. It's so hot and humid. Yeah, and I sweat more than other people as well. Even when I'm in America, people would be like, damn, you're so sweaty. So you can only imagine how insanely sweaty I am. In Japan, it's a whole nother level of sweatiness. Now I'm sad you're not in Osaka with those purple-haired leopard print-wearing Obachans. I might go to Osaka very soon because I have to get a new cell phone and a monitor. And I'm pretty sure there isn't many good electronic stores in this area. So I might just get on the train and take a 20-minute train ride to go over there. I need to get a new cell phone because I asked Verizon whether my phone was unlocked like multiple times. I went to the Verizon store before I left for Japan. They're like, yes, of course your phone is unlocked. All Verizon phones are unlocked automatically after 60 days after purchase. I was like, okay, it's been like 2 years since I bought my phone, and I paid for it full price, so I wasn't in debt to Verizon at all. And yet the last time I went to Japan, I was told my phone was locked. They're like, no, that's not the case. That's incorrect. I'm like, yeah, are you sure? It's like, yep, we're sure. But just to make you feel better, let me send a message to the our office to make sure that your phone gets unlocked. And I'm like, okay, well, I've solved this problem. There's no way this will be a problem to me now. And then lo and behold, before I went to Japan, I checked my email inbox and it was like, from Verizon, your email that you asked us, your request to have your phone unlocked has been denied. And I'm like, huh. Well, that's weird, but it was probably denied because my phone was already unlocked, right? Because by no standard should my phone be locked in the first place. I'll just go to Japan. I'm sure it'll be fine. And when I went to Japan and tried to buy a prepaid cell phone card, they're like, nope, your phone's locked. I'm just like, motherfucker. That's American corporations for you. You go and they're like, under no circumstances is this thing that thing, right? They're like, of course not, good sir. We would never rape your ass. No, sir. Just pay no attention to our universal ass raping machine we have set up near the doorway. It will not rape your ass. You can trust us. And it's like, oh, thank God. My ass isn't gonna get raped. And then 5 hours later, you're like, everything I believed was wrong. My ass is now being raped as usual. Now is your time to get one of those insane Xiaomi phones. I'm just gonna get a Motorola for like $100. I used to own Motorola's. They were very nice. I like Motorola's better than the current Samsung phone I have. I don't really like Samsung, and it's not just because I'm racist against Koreans. I like the hyper budget Motorola phone, so I'm gonna try and find one of those. I just have to make sure that it has like an eSIM and stuff like that. Japanese cheap phone plans are insanely cheap. Like, you can get a cheap phone plan in Japan where, like, you pay less than like $10 a month for shit. So, considering that I'm going to be at home most of the time on Wi-Fi, I really should just get an eSIM and a cheap-ass phone plan. Are you gonna get a dumb phone to stop the scrolling on the toilet? I already stopped scrolling on the toilet. I do that by using my phone to set a timer and I make it a competition to see how quickly I can poop. I'm trying to get it under 5 minutes. Koreans have badass food. I like kimchi. But Koreans being like, Korean food, we invented yakiniku. They're like, this is our amazing food. And it's like, bro, your food is just cooking beef. Like, it's good, but it's not like an invention. Seasoned beef being cooked is not something to be like insanely proud about. One of the first things I bought when I got to Japan got some kimchi. So I can get some spicy food in my refrigerator, but yeah. They didn't invent it though, like what? If you know anything about Korea, you know that they have invented literally everything on the planet. They invented kanji character writing, they invented gunpowder, they invented Japan. Does your barbecue come with cheese corn? I'm also not a big fan of the whole put melted cheese on everything as well. Guys, stop putting cheese on everything. I feel like a lot of modern Korean food is just like random shit that was in GI packs. Like, you know, shitty cheese or shitty spam and stuff like that. And they were like, we will make food out of this because we're all starving due to the Korean War. We'll just put a bunch of kimchi in a pot with spam. This will be our delicious food now. If you visit Tokyo again, go to that Eagles bar in Nihonbashi, Philly. I will never waste my time rooting for the Eagles. I have better things to do in my life. I don't know what kind of sports team bar I would go to be like. I would only go to a bar if it was like a specific bar for a specifically horrible, depressing franchise, but that still had a lot of fans who were optimistic about their team's prospects for winning this year. Like, if there was like a Jets bar or something, I would go to a Jets bar if it was like a year in which the Jets were like supposedly good, and then I would go every week until there would be like some sort of catastrophic failure and I could watch all the fans of the team like enter their depression state. I would want to watch that in real time. But I wouldn't do it if they were just like bad as usual. It would have to be like a special level of badness in which they were like, people were actually believing in the team this year. I would watch it to see real-time disappointment and heartbreak. I don't know what the best franchise for that would be, though. I feel like Jets fans are already, like, too deep into depression to have, like, that glimmer of hope. Maybe a Vikings bar would be good. I feel like Viking fans, they still have, like... The thing about the Vikings is that they're always, like, somewhat good enough to be like, maybe we will win the Super Bowl this year, and then they have like some sort of catastrophic painful loss, so that would be a good place. Falcons, yeah, the best version of this would be in like a Falcons bar in Atlanta during the Super Bowl against fucking Tom Brady, at halftime where people are like hugging and crying, being like, we did it, guys, we won the Super Bowl, we're up by 5,000 points, we've won it. And then it's like, oh no, 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 no. Oh no, 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 no. At the time, even I wasn't rooting for Atlanta, of course. Because, like, you know, fuck Tom Brady, right? But, like, in retrospect, that's like the funniest shit ever. Are you guys actually debating the composition of my picture right now? It's not done yet. You'll understand what I'm doing right now. Once I add more information, I'm going to delete her scarf because it's too much data. Is it 9 a.m. in Japan right now? Yeah, it's 9 a.m. Normally you make the chicks thick, her. The reason why this chick isn't thick is because this is a self-portrait of myself using my male gaze superpower to look at Japanese women in Japan. That's what's going on right now. Good night, bro. It's 2 a.m. here. Falls asleep on desk, but leaving stream on so you don't lose one viewer. No, not my viewership numbers, boys. The flowy skirt and oversized coat is solid observation. Every woman in Japan right now dresses like they're Muslims or something. I swear to God, like the current fashion trend in Japan is everything is baggy as fuck. Women do not want to show their body forms right now. Everything is like just baggy. Japan, where women are actually thin and fit, but they refuse to show any kind of curves or their body because of fashion reasons. America, where everybody is grossly obese, and yet women want to wear their, you know, Lululemon yoga pants to show off their fat, obese bodies because they think they're perfectly fine. It's one of those conundrums. How did that happen? still can't draw wrinkles on clothing. I don't know. I guess there would be no wrinkles. It would just be like a straight line, probably. If she isn't moving her coat at all. The arm length is correct. Never go to a Walmart at 9 p.m. You will see people with shit in their pants. I'm serious. Happened in Texas. True. I have only been to a Walmart like twice in my life. When I went to college, the closest store in which I was planning to like buy a TV or something was Walmart. And I go to the TV section and like half of the TVs had already been like opened and there was like cardboard like spilling out and like shit just falling out onto the aisles, and I'm like, what the fuck happened here? It was just like, if somebody had robbed the store, you wouldn't be able to tell because the way they were just displaying their stuff was already like, it looked like somebody had already robbed that place. Walmart is bizarre. Meanwhile, in Japan, even if you go to Don Quixote, which the entire store is organized like a hoarder just tried to cram every single item they could find off the back of a truck into like a tiny ass space, and yet everything is still somehow strangely organized. American women do wear their clothing too tight. It's easier to look chick if you wear flowy clothes. Yes, but how will you show off their ass? They don't gotta hide these curves. Gotta get that badonkadonk out into the world. How did you get to Japan? I asked mommy if I could use her miles. And she was like, yes, you can use my miles. That's how I got to Japan. And then I got on a fucking plane. Also, my mother kicked me out of her house at the ripe age of 39 because she wanted to remodel. I want to make her look a little bit older, which means I have to make the eyes a little bit smaller. Large eyes equals childish and younger. I love that everyone wears butt-enhancing pants now. Going to college towns is paradise. All the women 18 to 50 that are in shape and wearing tight pants. Here's the secret. A lot of them aren't in shape. The butt-enhancing pants are enhancing their butt, so it makes them look like they're in shape. If they take off those compression-ass yoga pants, they're actually out of shape and their butts are flabby and not tight. But because the butt-shaping pants work to, like, hold all that shit in together, it makes it seem as if they have tight asses. Again, they're cheating as usual, like everything else in American culture. We don't actually get thin, or we don't actually work hard to get a tight ass anymore. We use Ozempic to get thin, and then we wear compression pants to get a tight ass. They're ass-shaping pants for a reason. The reason why everybody wears them is because it makes them look hotter than they actually are, as usual. It's just another clothing-based doping thing. narrow the eyes so that they're more like Shima Gahao. Everything has to be the 90s now, I see. Clothes generally make bodies look better. Not me. I'm so fucking sexy. It's a shame that I have to wear clothes to not show off my incredibly sexy body. Clothes are just a nerf for me. If I wanted to go full sexy, I'd have to take it off, but society doesn't let me. It would be too sexy. Women can't handle this shit. They think they can, but they're not ready. Pierce Brosnan's hotness comes from his dedication to his wife. And by dedication, we mean making sure that she eats enough cheeseburgers to maintain her body weight. If it turned out that all the memes online of Pierce Brosnan liking fat women was just a lie and he doesn't actually like fat chicks, I'll feel extremely betrayed. But so far we don't have any information that contradicts this theory, so I'm gonna go with it. Speaking of sexy, how's your whole working out thing going? I mean, I don't have a gym membership right now because I just moved to Japan, but I'm doing my jogging. Just running outside, boys. The shit you say, bro. I mean, I'm serious, man. I would feel very disappointed if it turned out that all the memes about being an architect and stuff weren't real. I especially like the time-lapse one in which, like, there's different, his wife at different stages. And like he somehow looks more excited as she gets fatter, and then she gets thin and he looks like disappointed. The architect. This is when he looks the happiest, when she's really put on some weight. But then, like, later, she gets down to, like, you know, back down to 180 or something, and he looks, like, super disappointed. I just like how happy he looks in the last picture. He's like, yeah, let's go! I have succeeded! The architect. The weight looks good on her, to be fair. Some women look good when they're fat. Others, not so much. He has 30 new tab bookmarks in case he forgets the button. I don't know how that happens. It's just probably how Firefox works. She is also super pretty. Yes, just be a super attractive Hollywood actor And then you can also find a hot wife. Bro, I had a lunch with all my younger relatives, and like everybody is getting married and has fucking kids except for me. I'm so obviously like the black sheep of the family in terms of like not doing the normie shit. It's pretty funny and also depressing. Really makes you think, you know? Your internet niche, internet micro celebrity. I said this before, and he wasn't there because he's like too distant a relative, but I'm not even good at that because one of my like distant relatives is fucking Horikoshi apparently of My Hero Academia. So I'm not even winning in the whole drawing cute girls on the internet thing as well. The normie shit never worked out for me. If it was gonna work out for me, it would have already worked out. What? Yeah, I spoke to him once. He sounded like he was about to die from sleep deprivation because this was like week 5 of when My Hero Academia started or some shit like that. How distant are we talking? It's like second cousin, maybe distant? Second or fourth cousin or something. I'm not very good at figuring out how these like family trees go out. Doing your shit without nepotism, GG. I mean, there is no nepotism in the manga world. Anybody who's made it has made it based on their own popularity. I mean, even if when you're like a super respected author, you get your series cut immediately if it's not popular, so... If anything, the manga world is too competitive for its sake. There's a lot of stuff that might have worked out if they got more time. But that shit gets cut so quickly. You should add him on your Mirko porn. Bro, he probably already has his own folder of like 10,000 of his own images of Mirko porn that he drew himself. Like, let's be real. The man knows what he's doing. Kishimoto Samurai 8 proves nepotism isn't there. Yeah. Especially when it comes to getting cut. When the series get cut. I mean, they gave him all the marketing they could, though. They were pushing that shit so hard, and then it wasn't very good, and people were just like, nah. And they were just like, well, too bad. It's getting cut. At least you don't have the rabid Western Fujoshi fan base. I mean, it doesn't matter, though. It's not like the Western Fujoshi fan base gets to determine what I'm gonna do in my manga. The Eastern Fujoshi fan base, unfortunately, anybody who reads any sports manga knows the primary consumer of sports manga at this point is just Fujoshi. So by God, they try so hard to bait the Fujoshi girls so hard. Every male character has to be like archetype of Ikemen or something. Didn't they literally send death threats to Horikoshi and make him reconsider things? I don't know. They send death threats all the time. I'm pretty sure Horikoshi got to end his series and do his series on his own terms based on how it turned out. I think it was fine. Wild BaalBud Lores dropped this stream. Yeah, I wasn't saying that because somehow I was worried that people were going to be able to like trace me back to who I am based on Horikoshi's family tree, but that's pretty stupid to be worried about. But my mother was extremely adamant about, you know, not giving up where I was and who she was and stuff, because she just like values her privacy super hard. So, but now that I'm in Japan, I can do more lolcow shit. I'm not, you know, I already said the city I was living in right now, Ashiya. I feel very confident that none of you Western gaijin will be able to track me down. Also, I don't plan to be here forever anyways, so... Aren't mangaka kind of private with your family? He's like super distant family. I've only spoken to him once. I've never met him. I didn't even know about him until my aunt who owned this apartment was like, yo, this guy is has a series in, you know, Shonen Jump, and I'm like, huh, what, who? It's like fourth or third or fourth cousin, so I'm really, really far off relative. None of us chuckle fucks are going up 17 floors. The good thing is that this also protects me from the NHK collectors to try and get me to pay for NHK. If you don't know about this, NHK, the Japanese broadcast company, which isn't actually tax funded, but sort of pretends like they're tax funded, gets to go around and like collect money from you like they're running a protection racket or something. And everybody spends all their time trying really hard to not pay money to NHK. So I was worried that, because I'm pretty sure my aunt used to be in paying money to NHK, that they would know that this is a house in which, you know, they can get money from and they'd show up. But if it's been canceled with her death, then maybe I'm safe. I don't know. You aren't a cute idol, so there's anything there for us to obsess criminally over. No offense. I don't know. You guys might be jealous of my overwhelming talent, right? You bitches be hating because I got something you don't, which is my ability to draw Japanese woman. I don't know. No elevators or what? There's an elevator. Ironically, it only goes up to like 3 different floors. It's a 16th floor building, but it only goes like 5, 10, and then like 17. And I'm on the 16th floor, so I only need to go down 2 floors after I go up to 17. But some people have to walk like 3 or 4 floors just to get to their fucking house, even with an elevator. It truly was made in the 1970s. I was planning to go meet up with you, but you're safe from my mobility scooter for now. Japan, unironically, is a horrible place to live if you have any kind of disability. I went to the local city office yesterday because you have to do all this like registration shit. And there was like an old lady trying to take care of an old lady like in front of me. Like she had this fucking wheelchair. I guess it was her older sister. And the old lady on the wheelchair was like this. She was like literally fucking crumpled. Like, apparently, I don't know what kind of degenerative disease or something she had, but like she couldn't support her own neck and her own weight. And she was like, you know, it looked like she was basically like fucking dead. And then the older lady, or the younger older lady, was trying to hold up the old lady with like the insane like degenerative disease or something, trying to straighten her out so she could like sign a document. And then as soon as she would let go, she would go back to being like completely fucking crumpled. It's like, it was like a absolute symbol of like aging society. And like everybody at the bureaucracy office were like, we feel bad, but there's nothing we can do. You must sign this paperwork. There isn't some sort of electronic signature or something. You have to be in purpose to sign this paperwork. You'd think they'd bind her with straps to keep her aligned like a plant. Yeah, I don't know specifically what she had. I assume based on the younger lady who kept on calling her One-chan, so she was her younger sister, that the crumpled lady was probably only in her 60s, I think. So it was probably some sort of degenerative disease. But it just felt like a microcosm of the societal problems that Japan has. Sold her spine for weed. Unfortunately, there is no weed in Japan, because if there was somebody who probably could use some weed, it was definitely that lady. Yeah, so, and of course, like, some of the people who were working at the office, like the security guard at the office was also an old guy. He was probably in his mid to 60s to his 70s as well. Everybody is fucking old around here. There's actually a ton of kids as well, but like the people who are still working, there's a shit ton of old people. It's interesting how long people work. There's a lot of people who are aging gracefully besides like the sad examples like that as well, so I guess it's not that bad. We just need to all maintain the Japanese ideal of working until we die and then just die. When Subaru from Hololive went to America and smelled weed for the first time, she went yabai. It's just kind of like a sweet smell. I don't think it's a big deal. Mauled by a bear in the countryside. I'm wondering where I want to go in terms of... I'm thinking of moving to a cooler place for the summer. And one of the options is Nagano, up in the mountains, but I'm worried that I might get fucked by a bear. The bears are out of control in Japan right now. Get a gun. There are people with guns. There's like official hunting groups that are supposed to be killing the bears, except they're not, because there's all this weird politics involved with it. You can't just go and shoot the bear. You have to like get permits and stuff, or like if you do shoot the bear, like there's like actual situations in which the hunting, like the local government will ask the hunting society to go and like kill a bear that's showing up, and then they do kill the bear, and then they complain to the hunting society that they didn't kill the bear in like the exact sort of conditions that they wanted them to, or they shouldn't have done it, or whatever, some bullshit. It's a really good example of how Japan has become too developed a society, so they've forgotten like the core concept of man having to dominate nature, or else nature is gonna come and like fuck us up. So there's all these people who don't understand that sometimes you just gotta go and murder bears. Having bear problems sounds wild. This is an issue where not enough people have guns. Americans think that guns like solve every issue in society, but this is one of those issues in which guns would solve this issue. Oh, I get it. I need to make this go up so it's going to her ear. Her ear would be here, so it'd be like this. I knew something was weird. This angle would be slightly different as well. One time we need a good guy with a gun. Good guy with a gun isn't always the only thing that can stop a bad guy with a gun, because often the guy who thinks he's a good guy with a gun actually turns out to become the bad guy with a gun when, you know, he becomes depressed or whatever. However, good guy with a gun, literally the only thing that can stop angry bear without a gun. And sometimes even one good guy with a gun isn't enough to stop bear without a gun, because bear is like 300 pounds or 600 pounds or whatever. Japanese bears are small. Yeah, some of them are small. Japan has brown bears though, up north. They have smaller black bears down south and larger brown bears up north. You know, it's sort of connected to Russia, you know. It was originally part of Russia up north, so they have the same type of bears. If you go look at like Hokkaido bears. Oh, look at that little boy. Hunters demand higher pay to risk lives against Hokkaido's bears. Look at that cutesy wootsy little bear. There's no way this flufferino. They're like literally in the street in Hokkaido. Japan's bears in bad mood and hungry as attacks on humans surge. This flufferino would never hurt a human. Am I right, fellow Japanese citizens? Look at that cutesy. The bear park is doing okay. They're like, hello, give me my food. I'm more worried about monkey attack in Japan. The number one thing you should be worried about in Japan is heat stroke. And then earthquakes. But generally heat stroke. This is like the 5th time I've talked about how it being too hot in Japan, but that shit is real. Hokkaido bear low-key is just bigger tanuki. If we're gonna be 100% honest, if a tanuki wants to pick a fight with you, you'll still probably lose, even if the tanuki is fucking tiny. Rabid animals that want to kill you are no fucking joke. They have, like, you know, sharp claws and teeth and stuff. In general, the human body isn't very good when it encounters, like, sharp objects like teeth and claws that can puncture our organs and blood comes out. We're just like gigantic bags full of blood. And when we get stabbed, all our insides just start spewing out and we die, so... Alright guys, there's a bunch of shit I have to do today, like going back to the office and stuff like that. Not the office, but like the registration office. I have to sign up for all like the Japanese health insurance stuff, which I wasn't able to do yesterday because they closed at 5 p.m. So, have a nice night guys. I will continue to grind and update you. I'll probably do some commission work soon because I have to make money, you know, to pay for my rent and shit. But I also do that in between, you know, setting up my lifestyle here and working on my storyboards and stuff like that. So, see you around, boys.